In this lesson, we will learn about solving right triangles. Solving right triangles means finding any unknown sides or unknown angles. So let me start off by finding something that I didn't leave a blank for, but we should have it. The measure of angle P. The total sum of all the angles in a triangle should be 180. But if you have a right triangle, that's 90 degrees gone already. That leaves 90 degrees for the other two. So these two angles, the acute angles in a right triangle, will always add up to 90. So if I do 90 minus 36, that should give me angle P. So that's going to be 54. Okay, now, anyway, let's say if I want to find x now. So focus on the x, and we're given this one value of 10, and we're given this angle of 36. So from the perspective of the 36, x is the opposite leg, and 10 is the hypotenuse. So we've got opposite and hypotenuse. So that should be reminding you about the sine function. So you set it up and you say, okay, sine of 36 is going to equal opposite over hypotenuse. So that's going to be x over 10. Now, if you want to get x by itself, you just multiply both sides by 10. And these will cancel out. So that's going to leave you with x equals. Now to find this, you just can put it in your calculator, 10 sine 36. Okay, and that is 5.88 degrees. Let's see what they said to round to. Nearest tenth, so that's 5.9. Not degrees, that's 5.9. Okay, now let's go back and talk about y. All right, so if I want to get after y, so forget about x. All right, looking at y, I've still got the 10 and the 36. Okay, but now with the y, I've got the adjacent leg and the hypotenuse from the perspective of the 36. So that's going to be all about the cosine function. So I'm thinking, all right, cosine 36. Should maybe put a line here. And I should just finish up and put my 5.9. So cosine 36 is adjacent over hypotenuse, so that's y over 10. So it's basically the same thing. I multiply by both sides by 10. So these cancel out. So 10 cosine 36. All right, so that's 8.1. Got to round up. All right, so that's it. We found all the unknown sides and the unknown angle. We solved the triangle. All right, so that was number 4B, number 4A, I mean, and here comes number 4B. Okay, so same type of deal. First of all, if I want to find this unknown angle, I can just subtract from 90. All right, so if I do 90 minus 48, that's going to give me this. All right, but this looks like it's going to be 42. Okay, so the measure of angle L is 42 degrees. All right, let's find x. All right, so I'm looking for x, and I'm given these two numbers. Start with the angle. From the perspective of the 48, x is opposite and 8 is adjacent. All right, so that's the tangent function. So tangent 48 is equal to opposite over adjacent, x over 8. If I multiply both sides by 8, then I will have it. Okay, so 8 tangent 48. Okay, that is 8.9. Got to round up. Okay, now let's do something similar for the y value. Okay, so now I still have, from the perspective of this angle, I have the adjacent leg, but now I'm also dealing with the hypotenuse. So adjacent and hypotenuse. Well, that is the cosine function. Okay, so I'm thinking cosine 48 is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's 8 over y. Now, this is the type where I taught you a shortcut. Anytime you have the variable in the denominator, if you want to, you can take that and swap it with a number that's out here by itself. So if I do that, the equation becomes y equals 8 over cosine 48. And then this is something I can put in my calculator. So that is, well, 11.9, but then I have to round up, so it becomes 12.0. Okay, that's number 4B. All right, let's take a look at number 5. A new store is being built and an escalator is planned. It will make a 34-degree angle with the floor. If the vertical distance between the floors is 14 feet, how long will the escalator be? Now, when they say how long will the escalator be, the escalator is the stairs. All right, it's not the distance on the ground. It's the distance along the stairs, because that's the escalator. So in other words, they're asking us for this, okay? The x is the hypotenuse. So looking at the fact that we're trying to find x from the perspective of the 34, all right, 14 is opposite, and x is the hypotenuse. So opposite, hypotenuse, that is the sine function. So you can start this out this way. Sine 34 is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. That's 14 over x. Now once again, if you have the variable in the denominator, you can reverse these two as a shortcut. So that's going to give you x equals 14 over sine 34. Okay, and that is something we can put in the calculator. Okay, that's 25.0. All right, this time we have actual units, feet. All right, let's take a look at number 6. Okay, we have the situation that's pictured here. Now, they're asking how far is your friend from the tree? So here's your friend, here's the tree. Okay, so how far is your friend from the tree is going to be this side down here. For the record, there's a mistake in this problem. They're saying the angle of depression from the top of the tree to your friend is 37 degrees. All right, this is not the angle of depression. The angle of depression would be measured here. All right, If they say the angle of depression is 37 degrees, that should be 37, and this should be 37. And we should find this by subtracting from 90. But I'm going to go ahead and solve the triangle as pictured, but I just wanted to mention that. Okay, so as we solve this triangle, we should ask ourselves, okay, from the perspective of this angle, what is x and what is 18? Well, this is opposite and this is adjacent leg. The hypotenuse is unknown. All right, it's nothing, we have nothing there. So opposite leg and adjacent leg. That's the tangent function. So we say tangent 37 is equal to opposite over adjacent. Now, if I want to get x by itself, I just need to multiply by 18 on both sides. So 18 tangent 37. All right, that is 15.6. But the direction said to round to the nearest foot. So that would be actually 16 feet. Number 7. You are standing 35 feet from a billboard. The angle of elevation from your position to the top of the billboard is 58 degrees. How tall is the billboard? Round your answer to the nearest foot. Let's see if they get the picture right this time. Yeah, that actually is an angle of elevation. Good job, team. So we're trying to find the height of the billboard. So that's this. So what trig function are we looking at? Let's see. From this angle, we're dealing with adjacent and opposite. That sounds to me like the tangent function. So we should be doing tangent of 58 is equal to opposite over adjacent. Now, to get that x by itself, we need to multiply by 35 on both sides. So that's going to give me the answer. All right, 35 tangent 58. All right, 56. To the nearest foot, 56. All right, so that was number 7. Number 8. A car is driving down a hill that is 500 feet long at an angle of elevation of 32 degrees. To the nearest foot, what is the vertical distance covered by the car? Okay. So, from this angle, we have the hypotenuse and the opposite leg. What trig function does that sound like? Yeah, me too. Sounds like the sine function. So we should be going sine of 32 degrees is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. To get the d by itself, you multiply by 500 on both sides. Whoops. So d is 500 sine 32. Okay, what am I supposed to round to? Okay, to the nearest foot. All right, so to the nearest foot, this is 265 feet. Alright, that was number 8. Number 9. To find the distance d from a house on shore to a house on an island, a surveyor measures the distance between point B and point A as shown in the diagram. Okay, so the surveyor is on this side of the water, so he can walk back and forth and measure this side all he wants. But he's trying to figure out how far away the house on the island is without having to get his feet wet. Alright, so if he measures this distance and he finds that it's 40 meters, okay, an instrument called a transit is used to find the measure of angle B. Estimate the distance D. So, what do we got? From this angle, we are dealing with the adjacent leg and the hypotenuse. What trig function does that sound like? If you said the cosine function, then we're on the same page. Alright, cosine of 42 is equal to the adjacent leg over the hypotenuse. Now, see how the variable is in the denominator? This would be a good one to use that shortcut where we can swap these two. Not just the 42, but the whole thing. So the d comes over here, and then we have 40 over cosine 42. Alright, so I can just put that in my calculator. 40 over cosine 42. So that is 53.8. Am I supposed to round this to a whole number? Well, they said estimate. So 53.8 meters, approximately. Alright, I think that's it. That was the last problem. And so that was the end of problem number 9. I hope it was helpful. I will see you on the next video, my friends.